And let me... Ooh, that phone almost fell. Live over there. Let's check Instagram. All right, we're live on all platforms. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sankhaya. Salutations to all of you from across the world: Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Vietnam, Thailand, Laos. Put on my glasses here. So, good afternoon and into the evening to all of you here in the west side of the world, in the United States. This talk comes happily last night in regards to me canonizing the first of its kind historically in my life, canonizing Buddhist angels. And so I wanted to make today's video in what does that mean? What does that mean? And what does it mean when the Venerable canonizes you? These four students didn't even know what was happening. So I just wanted to give a historical context. I just wanted to give reasons. I just wanted to give the meaning behind it, as it was a very jubilant thing. It was a very surprising thing, I think, for the whole world to see, and a very surprising thing for most senior monks to also witness, as they're probably scratching their heads also right now. Most senior monks are starting to discover there's different groups of councils of the Sangha that are starting to discover who I am, where I'm at, how I teach, and why I teach, and where I teach, and so on. And so, you know, they too are like, interesting. A Vietnamese monk who lives in the United States is engaged in all of these projects and inspiring millions of people. So first and foremost, my life, oh, by the way, I sent in my chapter 1 to Bud today to review over the weekend. I've been delaying, you know, when they ask me for my progress, I'm like, I'm busy, I have a funeral to go to, I'm this, I'm that, of which I am. I am busy. But, so, you know, Bud on the editing team, on the publishing team, I bet he's having a field day. It's no different than a professor sitting there being a professor or a teacher, and the student's like, my dog ate my homework. And they're like, right. And we've never heard that before. Got it. So now, you know, this book thing, I am now the student and Bud is now the teacher, and I keep on delaying and procrastinating the submissions. Is the submission required? No. I actually asked him to stay on top of me so that I can stay on top of myself in finishing it. So that's that. That's out of the way. So yesterday night, I frequently check the comments on all of my social media platforms. I'm looking for pretty much trolls, people who put negative comments, and trying to moderate. Then Facebook came up, and for my birthday, I chose St. Jude Children Cancer Foundation. And I don't know, it's the first time choosing a charity on the page. You all have seen it, right? I'm pretty sure you all have seen it. And so I clicked on St. Jude, and automatically it generates, you know, from $0 to $200. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna do my part and boop, you know, put it out there on my page, and so on and so on. For my birthday, I engaged first and foremost, historically, into the teachings and the encouragement of the practice of Dhamma. And so I looked at the Facebook thing, and the full bar is blue. That means all of $200 has been raised for St. Jude. And I looked at it, and long behold, I was like, oh my God, somebody actually, really, actually cared. Wow. It was first raised at $50, then it got closer and closer. I think it got to like $100, which is half of 200. And then I was like, oh, how disappointing. And then I left it as that until I checked it yesterday. Then I found out the people who donated was Sam, aka Sambo, Savannah from Michigan, Natia from Thailand, and Win Tran. I think that she's in Texas. I think. I'm not sure. But only two of them I know and have direct experience with, which is Sambo and Savannah. Oh, by the way, folks, it's really hot out here. It just rained and then the sun came back up, and it's really extremely humid. So that's why you see all this mess right here that you see. Look like I just ran like 5 miles. I reflected there for a second, looking at the donors, and I was like, wow. Well, I'm not surprised that Savannah gave. I'm also not surprised that Sambo gave. The Tia, I've never brought to my attention. There's, again, more than 1.2 million of you guys, of students around the world. So I don't, there's a lot of students to keep track of, again, and more than 1,000 that I'm guiding right now with homework and teachings and meditation. Oh, let me sit in the lotus position here real quick. So anyway, I reflected, but I didn't reflect that long. I didn't have to. You get to this level and you realize you don't have to reflect this long and make certain jury level decisions quickly. And so let's pause there for a second and let's talk about disappointment. You see, the teacher who sits in front of you, myself, is one who have led by example all of his life. One who actually gave more and took less all of his life. One who has studied and diligently practiced all of his life. I have been held to a very high standard all of my life. So therefore I have high standards for me, first and foremost, all of my life. And I also have high standards for students. Yes. And so, of course, this is the very first time that I expressed such high standards. It's because you have to be very sensitive to Western students, right? Because they get a trophy if they get out of bed. We know that. Again, individualistic society, very self-centered society, and typically parents enable their children, and that they are complacent and naturally lazy. So therefore, a Eastern teacher who emerges has to be careful and sensitive and not be too hard on them, because we risk them falling off the swing again and quitting, right? Then, of course, subsequently down the road, they can't get a job, they become drug users, abusers, alcohol dependent, and then subsequently wind up in the prison system. So the Buddha left us instructions on how we should teach, and that we should be very skillful when teaching and engaging with the different types and all walks of life. That we want to cultivate ourselves as the 9 qualities of the Buddha, all right? Buddha Nusati. Tame people that needs to be tamed, meet them where they're at, make sure they remember the Dhamma, and so on. So my teachings have reached more than 100 million people. And so I have contemplated on quitting being a monk more than 100,000 times as a direct result of such disappointment that I have witnessed, just the career of a monk. Am I negative? No, far from it. Each and every single one of you were attracted to me and my personality just because I have been naturally a happy person. One who is optimistic view on life, all right? However, I have to be very honest with you all, is that the totality of my 35 years on this planet, it's a rare thing that I am disappointed. Matter of fact, the joy and happiness supersedes the disappointments in my life, particularly engaging with humans that is under my direct supervision, command, guidance before becoming a monk, in positions of public trust and in positions of leadership. And I have been very blessed that those individuals have followed instructions carefully, and that we did it. We affected the purpose of our goals, and that, we walked away happily. Happy retirement. So ever since becoming a monk, and I started to measure, it's consistent with the Kalama Sutta, is that the teacher reserved the right, authority, power, jurisdiction, nature, scope, and practice to design experiments, and to experiment not just within himself, but within the students worldwide, to see if certain programs actually really work. The cultivation of students, the recruiting of students, and the retention of students, and the effectiveness and efficiency of the programs. And do people fall off the swing when they're on it, or do they really stay on the program and subsequently graduate? Do they actually study the Dhamma, and do they actually practice the Dhamma, and so on, right? It's just a whole can of metric system, as found in experimental research psychology. If you're interested, you can look that up. So, my whole life is an experiment, first and foremost. That's why I'm engaged in these types of very fun experiments, to see how the Western students actually behave, and how do they actually study the Dhamma, if they actually read the Four Noble Truths, if they in fact sit and meditate, and for how long. Do they actually keep a journal? Do they actually reflect? And then comes the potent and most hardest thing ever to do, which is the practice of dana. I know that because, again, I have given my whole life. So don't think that there's nothing that I teach that I have not actually really done. And, so upon reflecting on these 4 individuals, I realized that these particular 4 individuals are one who are reflective. They're deep. They're very deep. They have hearts of compassion and deep understanding. They have the capacity to reflect deeply. They understand the nature of urgency. They respect their teacher. They understand that when the teacher is obviously displaying something or is requesting for something, that it is of grave concern, that it is of imminent concern, that it is of high level of importance, and that it deserves necessary attention right away. And so first and foremost, the CBT books were of great importance, and I got more than 10 books for that. Thank you for those who've donated the CBT books. However, the St. Jude Children's Foundation, on my side of Buddhism, was an experiment. It did, in fact, benefited children. And yes, we don't know what's going on that side of the world right now, on that side of where St. Jude is. But I'm pretty sure there's a long wait list for transplant. There is surgeries pending. There are probably deficits in regards to blood donations and O type and negative and positive, and just the whole can of worms in regards to the details and logistics of treating children. I've lost really good friends to cancer, such as David Nguyen of Chicago, who died of stomach cancer, died very painfully of stomach cancer. And so So yeah, it meant something for me when, but yeah, I just wanted to just put it up there just to see, if number one, it works and who was going to donate. That's it. These four individuals, without hesitation, quickly, effectively acted on such request. The disappointment lies where? The disappointment lies since I first started my first podcast with Francisco. And if you go back to the podcast, you just put my name, you just go to my link tree. The link is on every primary page on every platform. Look at the link, the bio, whatever. And ever since I emerged as an urgent care monk, meaning a monk that wants to get out there and help people right away because there's an urgent need for that. I mean, we have kids that's committing suicide and students dropping out very fast, citing student resiliency. And ever since I emerged, and with my first podcast, I've already said we need a meditation center right away, especially all of the hotspots right now in America where there's extreme violence. Nobody heeded to that concern. Not even $1. They would rather buy French fry than to donate $1 towards the mitigation of teen violence, teen suicide, student resiliency. So, but I just kept going, and I was just like, I'm just gonna try. I'm gonna keep on trying. Fundraising is not part of a monk. The Vinaya specifically states that we only need 4 requisites to survive. That means clothing, which is our robes, medicine, lodging. So I have reflected very carefully before engaging in such fundraisers because, well, there is Buddhism thrived, the whole world will thrive. Everybody knows that. You look at the Christianity world and you see that how many churches and thrift stores they have. I just passed by one today and I realized, the Keswick Christian school here. Christian schools does a wonderful job at, educating kids and keeping them on the straight path to Jesus and staying out of trouble and keeping the 10 Commandments, and the quality of education is stellar. Then I compared it to the Buddhism world and I realized we don't have any thrift stores to raise money. We barely can keep kids in the monasteries, and there is a lack of qualifying teachers that can meet the children where they're at to teach them. You need a particular type of skill to teach them. You can't just walk in and it's your way or the highway. That's how they fall off the swing and never want to come back to the monastery and to see that particular teacher. Kids naturally already hate their teachers. Just look at the social research I've done when it comes to public teachers and parenting. They absolutely hate their parents. They absolutely hate their teachers, naturally. So that's their job to find faults, and it's their job to think negatively in children. We know that. So I realized that these 4 individuals out of more than 20,000 people on both accounts on Facebook actually gave, but I don't think I shared the link on my orange account, so that doesn't count. So 17, then more than 20,000, yeah, so 17,000, 7,000 followers, and no, I'm sorry, 5,000. You have 5,000 maximum friends, and then there's 7,000, so that's 13. No, that's 12. I can't do math. It's so hard I cannot do math. It's 12,000. So 12,000 people and only 4, which is indicative and consistent with statistics of what I have observed in my 7 years as a monk, is that my last talk at a monastery, I won't say which one, and I looked at the Zoom and there were like 10 people, 20 people. Then I also, compared that with other monks, Zoom and Discord servers, and I realized that why do we have 10,000 on Discord and only 40 people attending Dhamma talks? See where the disappointment lies. You take that number and you compare that with the Christianity world, and it is very extremely disappointing to no end. To no end. Then we teachers know that you don't meditate. It's your job to, the burden of proof lies on you as the student. We know that you don't meditate. We know that you don't study the suttas. We know that you don't reflect on the Four Noble Truths. We know that you don't follow the Noble Eightfold Path as you should, right? We know all of these things that you students do. And it is your job to prove otherwise. And I have set up a system so that you let me know otherwise. It's the same thing as the confession process in the Catholic world when you go and confess your sins, right? That's why I said check in with me every 2 weeks, and a very small number of people actually do. And that's how I know. When they start asking me questions about their meditative experience, hey, is it normal if I see certain colors or things and we teachers know. Trust us, we know. Then I had a student today that, I have a lot of students actually, that tell me they've read the Four Noble Truths. And I'm like, really? Go ahead. Tell me what it is. And they're like, the first one is about suffering. Okay, well, give me some examples. We suffer because we desire. Okay. All right. And I stopped there. I stopped asking questions, and time to point them to the right direction. Maybe they don't know where to read, how to read. I don't know what the dealio is. My job is to figure out where they're at and quickly figure this thing out quickly for each particular student at their age, at their level, at their spiritual dimension, spiritual level, spiritual understanding, level of understanding, growth, development, so on and so on. So then, if you don't do all of those things, if you don't meditate, if you don't study, if you don't keep a journal, if you don't check in with your teachers, then what's the fifth thing? The fifth thing is, well, do you give? And the Venerable himself have said, if you have nothing to, I'm not asking people to give money. I don't care about the money part. As a matter of fact, these four individuals could have just gave 0.01 cent. They would have still been canonized last night. Why? They only gave a cent. Why do they deserve to become Buddhist angels in the school of Venerable Chi-Dao? It's simple. It's all about the intention. It's all about the volition. This constitutes karma. This constitutes positive karmic effects. That's where the burden of elements is. The requirement is. They did it. They did it. Now, so again, I don't care about the money part. I don't. So I've already previously said, if you don't have nothing to give your time, energy, effort, dedicate your mind, body, and speech for the benefit of humanity. Volunteer, help the homeless, feed the homeless, whatever the case may be. Volunteer at a hospital or something like that, right? And I would know if they checked in with me, because I have people that says, yes, I volunteered at St. Anthony's, St. Jude, St. Ignatius, you name it, right? Yes, I went to the local monastery and swept and cleaned and so on and so on. I don't know these things unless people reach out and tell me, so that other people are inspired as a direct result of their actions. So I still would like to hear from all of you if you've done it, and especially if you've done it in the week of my birthday to honor your teacher, right? Anyways, back to the point is that you see these four beautiful individuals. Sambo, let's talk about each one. I only have had direct public contact with two of them. The other two I've never met and have never spoken to. But somebody taught them right, and they taught themselves right, simply put. Let's talk about Savannah, who dropped everything and came down here from Michigan, was a former police officer, state Michigan police trooper, traffic division, who came down here to see me, participated in my class, you know, and very involved in the Dhamma, in practicing the Dhamma. When she returned back to Michigan, a young girl hit her patrol car, ironically, where she was in a drive-through, probably at lunchtime. And so she stepped out of her patrol car and taught this young girl how to breathe and just relax, and it's okay, it's just an accident. Don't beat yourself up, you're not gonna go to jail. I think she gave the young girl like the mala beads to wear or something like that. I forgot the details since it's been a year. And so I realized that Savannah was a student of a beautiful heart, deep, compassionate understanding, consistent with the Dhamma. Then we move on to Sambo. Oh, by the way, Savannah quit. It's not a law enforcement officer anymore. Savannah became a teacher, which is we need more teachers. We also need more Dhamma teachers. So my last couple of TikToks, I have been trying to recruit Dhamma teachers. You affect the world better that way, faster that way, more meaningful that particular way. Then we go to Sambo, of which who I grew up with. And yeah, I grew up with Sambo, and then one day he discovered, oh my God, he became a monk. Right in this very chair is where Sambo and I sat to talk about current life situations, why are we trying to meditate, nature and scope of meditation, and so on and so on. And, we were making progress. But I haven't seen Sambo for a good minute, even though he lives right here locally. Then the second emergence, I think he texted months and months back, probably more than 4 months back, about wanting to meet, but we were not able to coordinate that due to his working schedule being so busy. Then comes now, currently, his gift to St. Jude, of which I'm not surprised either, because I have already had prior information about him. And at the very first encounter, he actually put money in an envelope as donation for the monk, meaning, again, requires deep reflection that monks got to pay for health care and change their tire and put gas in their car to respond to emergencies. We don't charge any money. The only thing we can ask for is water. So who taught him that? I don't know. And it was just very beautiful. And clearly now you all see that why there are so many wrongdoings in the world and very few angels or saints running around. The Buddha knew this 2,565 years ago about the prevalence and magnitude of greed, hatred, and ignorance in humans in the large masses of numbers. The Buddha's first five disciples, literally, handful. When we look at the canonization of saints in the Catholic world, you see, comparable to the billions of people, look at how many. Not a lot. So therefore, it is, and of course, how many good news have you seen on the news, right? Well, number one, the news doesn't choose good news anyways. But to see good Samaritans do the things that they do, pull people out of fires, jump in and help someone when their car's in the lake, help deliver a baby, help a police officer that is in need. These are the modern day angels, no matter what religion, no matter what practice. And it is exactly those stories that I have been inspired and have followed and have studied for so long. So then, of course, now I'm in a position of spiritual leadership It is no different that I have my own metric and measuring system of canonizing who I believe are modern day Buddhist angels in this particular school. The word canonization belongs most primarily in the Catholic world. However, under dictionary definition, there's also the word to glorify, fame and glory. But my job is not to make anyone famous or to glorify them to the point where they're like sainthood, because one who says they're a saint is obviously not a saint. And the Buddhist angel, the word angel in America, people often relate that word as someone who is kind, compassionate, understanding, act in a timely manner. We've got stories that emerged in the Christianity world of angels coming down in times when people need the most, particularly death and dying, um, situations, environment, context, where we've seen angels kind of like pop in and hover around the body. There was an angel watching over me, people have said, and so on, and then the many examples of the angels. Buddhist angels, under definition of the suttas, is we do in fact have real Buddhist angels and devas and gods, right? So when you look up the 6 rebirth realms and it talks about, and other stories in the suttas, you will find it. But we do have angels that live amongst us, and it is so beautiful to see, no matter how few they are. There are 2 more names worth mentioning that I have not canonized, but they are still Buddhist angels because they operate as businesswomen and a businessman, but the way how they treat people, so ethical, so moral, that it gives insight into their heart of how actually beautiful they really are. Vanessa, who is the owner at Rising Sun Automotive here in Pinellas Park. Look her up, look up Rising Sun Automotive, Pinellas Park, and just be a customer, and you realize how beautiful she actually really is. She doesn't even know I'm a Buddhist monk. She doesn't even know you guys are coming. She does not even know. She just picks up the phone for everybody. She treats everybody the same. And then we have Steve with towing service. Steve is from Europe. I actually don't even know exactly where he's from. He charges $40 to tow people's cars on a flatbed. Where in God's world do you find a private tow truck driver that treats people right, is respectful, is caring, answers the call at 1 in the morning, comes and pick up your car? People have a lot of traffic emergencies, and it's scary when your car breaks down because you're like, I'm expecting this thing not to break down, and then it breaks down and your whole world is turned upside down with not a lot of money to call AAA or whatever the towing. I have seen fraud. I have seen how people scam people, especially when people who are in need. So, I've seen tow truck drivers give a bill of, $250, or every mile is like $30 a mile, whatever. However they do it, it's not good. It charges an arm and a leg. And I saw Steve not too long ago. I don't even know his last name. I seen him a couple weeks ago at Publix on 38th Avenue, 49th Street, Distant Plaza. And apparently he got a new truck. Good for him. He deserves it. And there was a woman that was there. And the woman said, "Isn't he an angel?" And I was like, "You recognize it too, lady?" And I told her, I said, if I could kidnap Steve, I would do it right now. I would kidnap him right now. Oh, these beautiful individuals. Oh, they bring so much joy to my life. They give my life so much meaning and purpose. And that it is so worth it, still teaching this stuff. So, you all can see my concern. You all can see the big picture here about Buddhist angels and stuff like that. Is that all of us have the opportunity to live nobly. All of us have the opportunity to, and if you don't know how to live, the Buddha has left you the methods on how to live the noble life. To live like a saint, to live like an angel, to purify your mind, to do good deeds. Why is that so difficult for people to do? Why is it so difficult to follow the precept? Why is it so difficult to stop killing, stop lying, stop, refrain from sexual misconduct? Oh, it's not that hard. Anyone can go to heaven. Just be good. Just be good. So, congratulations to the four of you. You all are supposed to just continue to carry on. Don't attach to anything that is good or bad in your life, including this new designation within the school of Qidao. Keep giving, never stop giving, inspire other people to give. And what this means for the world, as I said in my 60-second TikTok video, is that it sets the tone and stage for people, for all of us, for all 15,400 people on YouTube, 34.8 thousand on Instagram, more than 1.2 million, getting ready to be 1.3 million on TikTok. You know, more than 20,000 on both YouTube accounts. I hope people give more and take less. Clearly you see my face and you hear the tone of my voice. And clearly you see that the teacher gets tired of repeating himself over and over again. I give kudos to some of these priests, rabbis, bishops, archbishops, cardinals. Every weekend they repeat themselves. I guess when you get to a certain spiritual height and age, spiritual age, my God, I've just turned 35 and I feel like I'm 263. You know, there comes a point where I really enjoy silence and not even talking anymore. Because I think part of that is realizing that we are losing the battle. The battle of inspiration, the battle of whether or not this world will actually turn for the better. The Dhammacakka. I couldn't tell you all how many times when I review comments and I review and start conducting research and I ask myself, am I really actually making a difference out there? Again, earlier in this video, in this talk, I said I have contemplated in wanting to quit more than 150,000 times. And I've asked and you know, like one thing after another, I get messages and someone reassures me, yes, I am making a difference. Through the private messages, they're like, you're inspirational, those videos, I've stopped smoking, I've stopped, you know, doing this, I've stopped stealing, and I'm back with my parents, I'm establishing new relationships, so on and so on. And that's when I realized, well, Qidao, please keep going. Please don't run into the forest and sit and enjoy your silence, because that's a little too self-centered of you. It is no wonder people in this tradition of Theravada is that they do that. They really like to do that. It is no wonder that the great masters, the arahants, the actual saints, right in the forest, they just sit there. It's so hard to find them. You can't look them up on Google. You cannot find them on a map. You have to like really talk to like hundreds of people, dozens of people to trace. Have you seen a Chan Cha? Have you seen a Chan Moon? Have you seen a Chan Lee? Have you seen a Chan Buddhadasa? And it's no wonder. I feel that. I feel that every day in my veins. I feel it. I see it. I see it in my heart. I hope that today's talk again emphasizes the urgency of charity. That if you don't meditate, you don't study, you don't keep a journal, you don't check in, and you don't do everything that I have suggested in the whole library of teachings that I have left all of you, then for goodness sake, give. That's the least you can do in Buddhism. Dedicate your body, speech, and mind for the benefit of others. Open the door, be nice to somebody, be kind. Hi, how are you? In what ways can I help? Right? Instead of, can I help you? You know? When someone falls, lend a hand, walk an old lady across the street, randomly buy food for the homeless, give money to the homeless. It doesn't matter if they take that money and buy alcohol. It doesn't matter what they do with the money that you give them. That's their karma. Do your part. Do your karma. And for goodness sake, don't do it so that you somewhere down the line become a Buddhist angel too. No, folks. No. No, 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 no. You give and you want nothing in return. That is an actual real gift under the definition of the Buddha. Give and want nothing in return. That is what makes you beautiful, no matter if people know about it or don't know about it. George Steinbrenner here, the stadium in Tampa, they named that stadium after him, and when I read that article, I cried. When one sentence described George Steinbrenner, and the sentence said that he gave so much to those who have benefited. He gave so much, and only those who benefited actually knew what he did. He didn't run around and said, I did this, I gave this person a house, or I paid their medical bills. He didn't do that. When he died, this man should have been canonized. So, I hope, again, that all of you reflect on this and that you all are inspired by the 4 angels that I canonized, by and through my own standards, by and through my own teachings, by and through my own jurisdiction, nature, scope, and practice. And this sets the stage for other monks. This sets the stage for every person in the world to reflect deeply. Every time when you listen to a monk talk, what is it that they're trying to say? What is it that they actually need? What is it that they need for us to do to answer the call? How can we help? Donating, for example, once your bill is paid. In America, everybody has at least $1 in their pocket. True or false? And I said earlier, even if these 4 angels that has been canonized donated just 0.01 cent, they would have still been an angel, because it wasn't the point of the amount. It was the point of deep reflection, willfully, knowingly, and intentionally wanting others to heal. That they no longer identify with themselves in these moments of giving. That it's not about me anymore. It's about these dying children that needs a chance, that needs the best available care, that needs world-class care to prolong their life for their family, to save the heartache that is about to take place. You hear the word cancer and you realize the prognosis is not pretty. And so, realistically, now that you have a lot of insight into the mind of a monk, not just this particular monk, but that's why monks disrobe, or they no longer make themselves available to the public, because they just see they see that it's a losing battle, that their words are meaningless, and the actual number of people who actually reflect on their teachings and the urgent call for certain particular urgency, nature of urgency in society, is not being heeded. No one is heeding, no one is answering the call. So therefore they return back to the original practice of, listen dude, time to just now come back to the defilements, come back to the cleansing of the defilements, purify your mind, and come back to attain your own arahantship. When a monk branches away from the forest and engage in an urban setting, engage with other humans, is that they're trying to save humanity from humanity itself. They're trying to keep people from printing guns in their home and killing each other. They're trying to prevent people from attacking police officers. They're trying to prevent killing, cheating, lying, stealing, wrongful speech, hate speech, divisive speech, gossiping, all these things that we humans, at the time of this talk, observe in our group and community and realize, oh my God, she's so full of drama. All you do is divide people. All you do is talk about other people. All you do is steal. All you do is sleep with prostitutes. All you do is this and that. We're just like, oh my God, where is hope in humanity if these people are running around doing these things? I am getting ready to merge the two faiths together, the two philosophy, faith, and religion together, which is Buddhism and the Christianity world together in future talks to come, because the two contributes magnificently the magnitude and saliency and depth of education, of morality and ethics. So therefore, it is not my position to take sides with anybody. I'm just a representative of the human race. It is not my job to promote Buddhism, and say, yeah, Buddhism is awesome and everybody else sucks. And vice versa, as we've seen in religious wars, right? It is my job to see the commonalities of what is working and how to preserve humanity, the integrity of people, to bring people together, to help them achieve their goal. If it is your goal to meet Jesus one day, Buddhism can help you. If it is your goal not to go to hell, Buddhism can help you. Simply put. So again, today concludes of the reason why I made these 4 Buddhist angels, because of their volitional act, profound volitional act, without hesitation. And I like, for those who like to study this type of things, look all around us, and look around us and the study of heroes. And what is the study of heroes? Because everyone's got a hero, right? We've seen people, even with criminal backgrounds, even felons, who have jumped in to save people. There was a felon that helped a police officer once. There are people who jump into burning cars. There are good Samaritans, good Samaritan acts in the world, in our society, that just do what they do without hesitation, without the sense of preservation for oneself and one's life. They do it selflessly. And for that, we see them hailed as heroes. Just that act, volitional act, willfully, knowingly, intentionally, voluntarily, engage, boom, right there and then. They are duly deserving individuals to be called heroes in modern day definitions, in modern day life. They set the tone, stage, and example of other people, to other people, so that other people are inspired. That when the next time I see a burning car, what am I going to do? Am I going to do the right thing, or am I going to do what I really want to do? And I hope to inspire all of you all, first and foremost, by and through my own walk through my own examples in my whole entire life of saving lives as a lifeguard for the city of Clearwater, Ross Norton Pool, 6 kids with reports, empirical, documented, right? And many other selfless acts. I don't want to name them all because it's not about me. It's about you. And it's about the principle. It's about the meaning and purpose behind what we can do as humans to better ourselves, to lessen our own greed. And I couldn't tell you, out of all the teachings, what is most important that yields fastest results as a Buddhist is giving, the actual action itself. If I ask you right now, hi, I'm Venerable Chidao, how are you? Can I have your phone? Will you give it up? Mind you, I can't ask for anything except water. But if I was a lay person or something like that, and you know, what if someone comes up to you right now and said, I'm really hungry, do you think you can buy me something to eat? What would you say? When someone wears a nice dress but their face look like they've been through hell, are you going to compliment their dress knowing that that would make their day? Because they could be thinking about their daughter that just passed away. They could be thinking about something that is really, really hell right now in their mind. But you knew that as a direct result of your right speech, kindful speech, you can make their hell into heaven. In this instance, will you do it? I do. I do. If you plaster me on the news right now and ask, anyone has ever seen Venerable Jidao and has he ever contacted you, encountered you, talked to you, made you laugh in some way, we like to hear about it. You would get so many phone calls. You would have to open up your own call center to get empirical findings and reports, actual testimonies of people saying, I remember him. He came in and I was working at Dunkin' Donuts and he da-da-da-da. You know? You all captured a small glimpse already on my TikTok when I was in Starbucks making them laugh. I look like this when I'm in public, so of course people are gonna be like, why is your arm out? Are you going to a party? So we're already starting off with a humor. So, well, I'm going to magnify that humor for you. I'm gonna make sure you have a great day. You're gonna have a great day. I'm going to, since I can't, so being a monk is really fun, right? You cannot just walk up to someone and be like, let me teach you about the Dhamma. No, we ain't other faith and religion where we knock on people's doors and we're like, how you doing? Like to hear the gospel? Don't work that way. So how do we live the Dhamma? How do we exemplify the Dhamma? Easy. By and through our speech, body, speech, and mind. My own actions, my own speech, and my kindful thoughts about these humans. And you see, initially when we see humans, we're already judging. And we're like, ew, she's obese. And we're like, ew. And we're like, ew with everything. And we judge. And we're like, oh my God, he looks like a criminal. Oh my God, he looks sketchy. Oh my God. It's the endless judgment in our minds. So what does it mean when the Dalai Lama says, dedicate your body, speech, and mind? Let's go to the mind part, the consciousness part. Is that when we see the first noble truth in them, we realize they suffer just like we do. We woke up this morning with back pain. They woke up this morning with back pain. We woke up this morning with a toothache. They also have experienced toothache sometime in their life. We get sick. They will get sick sometimes in their life. So how could you think something so unkind for someone? Just because someone is obese does not mean that they just sit there all day eating food for no reason and divulge in it. No, has it ever crossed your mind that they're addicted to food? Is an addiction. It is a diagnosis. It is a mental diagnosis. How many of us are addicted to sex, porn, addicted to gambling, addicted to drinking, addicted to drugs? And just because their addiction is more visible than ours, have compassion for these people that suffer. That's what it means to dedicate your body, speech, and mind for the benefit of others. So I hope you all reflect on this talk from head to toe. If you're now just joining, go back to the beginning and the end, and please, please, you represent the school of Buddhism. You represent the school of Jidao. So please, you all chose me as the teacher, and it is the only request of the teacher that you all keep the precept, be good. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't kill, don't steal, no sexual misconduct, no intoxicating substances, refrain from them. Can you drink? Sure you can. Just don't drink to the point where you're gonna do foolish stuff and get arrested tomorrow morning, right? Do that. Can you just do that for me? Just do that. Will you find time to meditate for the teacher, right? Will you find time to write in a journal so you understand more about yourself? Will you find time not to get angry? Will you find time to reflect on what you did today? Will you find time to reflect on what you're going to do tomorrow? These are the simple, noble requests from the teacher. It is getting dark, and I thought that the earlier flush of rain, the downpour of rain here was going to cool off the day, but it actually did the total opposite. It rained, it got hot, and then humidity. So I've been dying since I've been sitting here. So I'd like to conclude my talk. I'd like for everyone to just reflect on our conversation today and the conversation you will have with yourself after this talk. Be intelligent, be wise, be kind. The School of Jidao. And again, congratulations to the 4 Buddhist modern-day angels. May you continue to give. May you always rejoice in this fact. May you access this memory for the rest and remaining balance of your natural human life. May you take favorable rebirth. And if I could advocate for you about the sharing of merits, I will. And that my memory will always preserve all 4 of your names and the more names to come. I hope there'll be more names to come. Your job is to flood my memory to the point where there's so many people that give that I can't even remember their names. Does it matter if I remember your names or not? No, it actually really doesn't matter. It's because we're all just visitors, right? We should not attach onto any importance about who we are, who we actually are, who we think we are. Who am I? Am I venerable? I don't know. Am I human? Maybe. I'm just a visitor. That's it. Just a visitor. Flesh, bone, skull, elements. I'm just made of elements, atoms. Hopefully you all inspire me. Hopefully you all do not disappoint me on these very simple requests as your responsibility across the world as Buddhist. And even if you're not Buddhist, you can see that these principles are universal. It's something that makes our job really easy, is that you don't have to be Buddhist to see that these things about kindfulness and giving and generosity and all these things are just so good for humanity, and so many people benefit from it. And just the joy of watching their smile and right in front of you, just to watch them smile, it's like, oh my God. You know, ever give a gift to a child and you see their glimmering hope and thankfulness and gratitude in their face Christmas morning? You know? So I'd like to conclude my talk. I think I'm expecting a phone call from students, 2 students tonight. And again, if you're now joining, I would like for you all to go back to the beginning of this video. It's a very profound and deep video of its kind. It is historic. Historic. Even though it is historic, I like to replicate it. My job as teachers is to find reasons to canonize Buddhist angels, as long as I hold this capacity as a monk, simply put, and the joy of doing so. I hope to do that every day, actually. So give me reasons, people, to do it. May you all be well, be happy, be free. May you know what it's like not to suffer. May you know what it's like not to suffer physically. May May you know what it's like not to suffer mentally. May you know what it's like to be joyful. May you know what it's like to achieve true inner happy peace, true inner happiness, true inner freedom, true inner liberation. May you know what it's like to give to other people. May you know what it's like to take favorable rebirth. May you always rejoice in the memory of giving. May you access this memory at the moment of death. May you have more roses in your life and less thorns. May you all realize the light of your own true nature. May you all be healed and be a source, a potent source of healing for others. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And for those who have given, especially the cognitive behavior therapy books, to save children from suicide and depression, for all of those who have given over the last month of the practice of dana and the continuous practice of dana. This blessing verse goes to all of you, and the dedication of merits goes to all of you. May my merits be your merits. Yatha varivaha pura pari puranti sakarang evamewa ito dinang petanang upakapati ichitang patitang tumhang kipamewa samechatu sape purentu sankapa jando panyaraso yatha manijo atiraso yatha sapitiyo viwanjantu saparo agoa vinasatuma fawan tuan tarayo suki Deha bawa abiwan dan nasile sanicang buddha bacani no jataro thamma watan di ayuwano sokang palang bawatu sappamanggalang rakantu sappadewada sababuddha nupawena sadasoti Bhavantu te bhavatu sappamanggalang rakkantu sappadevata sappathammanupavena sadasoti bhavantu te bhavatu sappamanggalang rakkantu sappadevata sappasangkhanupavena sadasoti bhavantu te. May you all have a good night, and until the very next time. Sadhu. Sadhu, sadhu.